कुछ होगा कुछ होगा उसका प्लीज बहुत गर्मी
Yo.
चलो we shall stop we shall start today we'll do moments You got any papers?
I have got English marks.
How many marks?
Huh?
How many marks?
35 out of 50.
You just passed?
पाँच से भी ज्यादा है.
5 से भी ज्यादा है मतलब 2 मार्क ज्यादा है और
7 marks. 5 से भी 7.
why Ninad?
And
Nishad, I know. Why I don't know why I call it Ninad. Like God knows. I really don't know why I call it. I had a child called Ninad. I got a child called Ninad, so that's why it's stuck in my head. Instead of Nishad, it's what's Ninad. Okay. In moments, we will do the last sleep. Now, what do you mean by the last sleep?
on the last day.
On the last sleep. So what do you mean by the last sleep?
Ma'am, I have done many mistakes in grammar.
Yeah,
I have done many mistakes in grammar. Yes.
that I know you must have made because
इसके लिए 35 at least.
so that's what I'm saying. That I know. What do you mean by last? If I say last sleep, what do you mean by that?
The last of
The last of the remaining week.
Oh yeah.
These are so easy ones. Why couldn't you do? I am going to write a story. Whenever you write a story, write an adjective and complete the story, na?
Ma'am, I have got 4 marks in story writing.
I got 4 marks in story writing. Then where did you lose marks?
Oh, error. Error.
Alright, so means it's a remaining leaf, right? This story of the last leaf, it talks about this. It's written by O. Henry. Okay. It talks about how it's a symbol of despair also, and it is a symbol of selflessness also. Okay. The last piece talks about that. The story of O. Henry is all about that.
Okay.
So you should have known now what does the last piece talk about.
Like in that there are 2 patients. First one
No, there are not 2 patients. Only one patient was there. The other one becomes a patient because of his selflessness. He was all right. He was an artist. He was all right, but it wasn't what he did for the love to make sure that she survives is called selflessness. Understood? So there's only one patient where she's given up hope. She she's counting the leaves. She said once the last leaf falls, then I will also die. If you have the will to live, like remember if you're talking about when somebody is very seriously ill, okay, when very seriously ill, and if you don't have the willpower to fight that illness, it can be that you have given up and there are chances that you give up your life. But if there's some kind of hope that willpower is there, then you will survive. When she noticed that this leaf, like her sister went and told this artist, Graham, what it was known, that my sister has given up hope. So, and she's counting at the leaves. In the night, he went out in the snow and the cold and he drew that leaf. Okay. Now, whenever this girl saw this leaf, it was there, it was surviving. It 1 day went, 2 days, it was still there, clinging to the life. Then she says, okay, why I'm so depressed? Because if this leaf can cling, if this leaf can cling on the vine, then I also can fight for my life. And then she starts fighting for her life, and then she starts getting better. because the doctor said nothing is wrong with her but her willpower. Now, if we have that kind of willpower to fight, then we can overcome a lot of things. And this man, because he went and wanted to give her that willpower, that will to live, he went and drew this leaf on her window, correct? And he got pneumonia. You know what is pneumonia, right? When you get cold and wet and all that, you have this sickness which is like cold, and it gets into your lungs, and then he passed away. So, in order to give her life, he gave his life. That is why it is known as selfless love. Understood? That is what the story is all about. O. Henry's full name was Willie Sidney Porter. He was born on 11 September 1962 and he died at 1910. He was an American short story writer famous for his use of surprise ending. So you'll find this also surprise because when they went to visit him, they found that he had passed away, but this girl survived. So it's like a surprise. Most of the stories are full of surprise ending. This one. He wrote over 300 short stories. His stories are about the lives of ordinary people and are marked by his unique narrative style. Narrative, you know what is narrative style, right? You like when you write it from your perspective, that is a narrative style. I is very this one. He wrote of stories about what he has seen and what he had experienced. Okay, so O. Henry's stories were all about us. We are all ordinary people, right? So, why are we late, Bangme? Okay. Bangme, next week you are in town or you're going out? Because these two are out of town. 11th it is after Dhanteras. 10th is Dhanteras, 11th is this. I think so. You're thinking so or you're sure so? Okay. So as I said, his stories are very what is like normally ordinary people, and he writes it from his perspective. Even you see Ruskin Bond's stories, the stories are all about how he has experienced. He has a very humorous twist. Okay, what he has experienced in life. So that most of his stories are based in New York City and speak of his fascination with the place. So you'll find because he lives in New York, he writes mostly about New York City. I have not started the page number, it's the last leaf. We'll just wait to go inside. Okay? This main theme, as I said, is selflessness. Sorry, moments old. Okay? It is selflessness and sacrifice. When you give for others, when you do for others. As I said, he went in order to give her hope to live, and he himself died. Okay, so that's why it's selflessness and sacrifice. Behram, like as I said, Behram finds out that Judge Jonesy is convinced that she will die once the last ivy leaf falls. She is every day counting the leaves. So she said that once that leaf falls, then I will also die. That Vilpa, she's very sad, she's very depressed, and because she's very ill, and that's when you're ill, we feel very down. If you see mentally, also we feel very very down. We feel very depressed, right? Because your body doesn't have energy, and if your mind is not strong, you have a tendency of going in depression. Why only me, and this has happened to me, and all that. So he comes to know about that. Likewise, Behram selflessly gets out in the rain and snow in the middle of the night to paint an ivy leaf on the brick wall. Likewise, what is the meaning of last leaf? Behram climbed on a ladder and painted the leaf in the cold and rain and caught pneumonia. As I said, pneumonia is what when you get cold, solid cold, and you get sickness from there. Okay, himself and died. The leaf is a symbol of despair. Despair because when she looks at the leaves falling, she feels that once the last leaf falls, I will die. So that's the word despair. That turns into a symbol of hope. So when the leaf, even in the storm, in the rain, in that how leaves fall off, and it was autumn time because we don't experience autumn here. When the leaves falls from the trees, right? During the summer, just before summer, so leaves shed their trees shed their leaves. So it has to. It's a natural phenomena. But this leaf, what he had painted, it seems as if it is clinging on to that branch, to that vine, and that gave her hope. That if this leaf, which is a tiny, thin, leaf, it's a very fragile leaf. If this can cling on, it can hold on to that vine, then why not me? And that's what gave her hope. The falling of the leaf gave her despair. Falling of the leaves gave her despair, but clinging on the leaf gave her hope.
Oh, what is the meaning of ivy?
Sorry?
Ivy leaf falls.
Ivy is a plant. I'll show you the plant also. Okay. Alright, the leaf is symbol, as I said, when it falls, it is a symbol of despair, but when it holds on, it becomes a symbol of hope. Jonesy thinks that ivy leaf stands for her life, slowly falling away. So each leaf falling is as if her hopes and dreams and will to live falls with it. Okay? When the last leaf remains, however, it becomes a symbol of hope for her. So when there is storm, when there is rain, when there's and the leaf is still holding on, that's the time it became a symbol of hope. But it can fight, a tiny little leaf can fight, then why can't I? Understood. So falling, that's why I said the falling is this. It's or talking about the leaf is talking about despair also, and it's talking about the hope also. So that's why the last leaf. That's why the title is very apt because it is the last leaf which was surviving, which gave her hope. Okay. So the two friends, Sue and Jonesy, live together in a rented apartment. You know what is rented apartment, right? So Jonesy contracts pneumonia. Now she gets pneumonia and then Behram gets pneumonia because he gets wet in the rain because he wanted to paint that leaf in order to give her hope and loses a desire to leave. You'll find many cases like this when the doctors has given up hope. You see in many movies also, you see in many television serials also, you see that the doctor says no, that there's no hope for this person. But this person, that willpower, that strong, strong mind, he says no, I will not give up. And that willpower makes the person live. I have seen in real life also people who are right near the deathbed. They have been operated and doctor says 24 hours are very critical, like those, if you see, hopefully it doesn't happen to yeah. You saw it?
Actually, here was like us, like so doctor said that most probably he would live. We need to operate his heart, so like it is not that chance, but like next morning there was no first to be found. So like he luckily
He survived that, right? Because the doctor said no, it is a critical operation, right? And there are chances that people who are not strong will not survive. So it happens, like in real life, as you said, you faced it. It happens. The doctors give up hope, and if you have your will to live, you fight it out, and you fight out the disease, and you survive. You see how many people who lose arms, lose legs. You see, they're so critically injured, but how they they have this willpower to survive, and they survive. So that way. But this girl, she's looking at the leaves falling, and she said, "I like the leaves is falling. My life is also going to go." So, so that's why she lost the desire to live. She announces that she will die when the last leaf fell off the ivy creeper. So this is a creeper which climbed up to the wall. You know what is creepers, right? Climber, creepers, these plants. So she said, when the last leaf will fall, I will also die. Okay. Their neighbor, Mr. Behram, goes out in the storm to paint one. And it was storming, and Mr. Behram went and painted one leaf on her window. This gives hope to Jonesy, and on the other hand, Mr. Behram contracts pneumonia and dies. That's why when I said the theme is selflessness and sacrifice, it talks about Mr. Behram. How he goes, he's very old and he goes out in the rain. And you know how, like, normally old people have very less immunity. Young people can survive what sickness and all that, but old people have a less immunity, and then he contracts pneumonia and he dies. Okay? The last piece is a short story. It tells a story of an old artist who saves the life of a young artist dying of pneumonia by giving her the will to live. This is wrong. The will to live. In process of saving her, the old artist falls ill and died. This is a summary of your story. This is how the story progresses. Okay. See, you will find this here also. See, this one is. You find this in bungalows, remember? This is ivy. This particular leaf, see. So this leaf, one by one, it was falling because it was autumn time and it was not like it was dry and leaves fall off like that. So each leaf she was counting. Alright? You ever notice ivy? Okay, let's start. Moments, page number, one minute. The last leaf. Start reading. You didn't read?
Sue and John C. Two young artists shared a small flat. The flat was on the third story of an old house. John C. fell very seriously ill in
No, start with it is autumn.
It is autumn, the wind is blowing hard, and it is what it is
Yeah. And it is raining heavily.
and it is raining heavily. All the leaves,
Yeah.
all the leaves on an ivy creeper have fallen except one. Why doesn't the last?
Where is the clearest?
Sue and John.
Sue. The pronunciation is Sue.
Sue and John C., two young artists, shared a small flat. The flat was on the third story of an old house. John C. fell very seriously in November. She had pneumonia. She would lie in her bed without moving, just gazing out of the window. Sue, her friend, became very worried. She sent for the doctor, although he came every day, there was no change in John's condition. One day, the doctor took Sue aside and asked her, "Is anything worrying Johnson?" "No," replied Sue. "But why do you ask?" The doctor said Johnson, it seems, has made up her mind that she is not going to get well. If she doesn't want to live, medicine will not help her.
Okay, stop. Now, Sue and Jonesy, two young artists, okay, shared a small flat. So they were like, how you have sharing business and artists, they don't earn a lot. So they were friends and they decided to share a flat. Now the flat was on the third story. That's why when he had to climb, he had to take a ladder. Third story, third floor. Correct? The third story of an old house. Jonesy was felt very seriously ill in November. Now, November being an autumn time there, so she was very ill, and it is very chill, very cold. You require protection from the snow and all
Where
that.
is that? Where they are staying?
I see. Normally his stories are based in New York. Okay, and it is very cold at that particular winter time. It is. Here also, if you see November, December is winter time, though you don't experience winter here. But if you same day, if you go towards the north side, you will experience that snowfall and all that. Correct. So it was snowing, it was cold, and she had got pneumonia. Pneumonia you catch because you get cold and you get fever and your lungs gets infected and all that. So that's how you cross it. And it's a very serious illness. That's why when you have a slight cold or something, you have to take immediate medication. Okay, and she got pneumonia and she would lie. Now you don't have, see, when you're sick, you have fever, you cold, and this one, what happens? The body drains out of energy, right? And she would lie on her bed without moving. So she didn't have that, it will also to get out of the bed. She would lie on the bed and she wouldn't move. Just gazing. Gazing means looking. She would always look out of the window. Okay, that was the only thing she used to do. Sue, her friend, became very worried. Now, when your friend is not doing anything, just lying on the bed, you get worried. Imagine your brother just lying down. Friends are like that, correct? Brothers or sisters. Like if they're lying down without any energy and they are normally very chirpy and full of energy, and when they're lying down, you get worried. So Sue also was worried for her friend. Okay, she sent for the doctor She called the doctor. She said, please come. Although he came every day, there was no change in Jonesy condition. So every day this doctor would visit. With visits to every day. Like he look at Jonesy, check her. But there was no improvement. You know, doctors' medicines have the tendency to make you better, feel better, correct? But when the doctor is coming every day, he's giving her medication, she was not getting okay, right? So he asked, this doctor asked her one day, like, is something playing up in her mind? Like, is something worrying her? You know, when you're worried, you have a tendency of not like paying attention to your health. Correct? Is something worrying her? What is wrong? Bang mein. No reply. So, but why do you ask? So she was very curious. She says, why? Why do you ask that? She's not. She's not worried about anything because as friends, you would know what is happening in anybody's life, right? So, what this one? The doctor said Jonesy, it seems, has made up her mind that she's not going to get well. She has left all the desire to get well. She's given up her will. She's given up all her hope. That she says, I am not going to get well. And you know, when you head that, whenever you have decided something, in your mind, I will do this. You remember, you put in all your effort to achieve that. Yes or no? But the same way, if you say, I cannot do this, what happens? It's the other way around. Correct? That means you are not making any effort to do it. Yes or no? You say, I'm scared of maths. You will say, I'm scared of maths. And once that is in your head, whenever you see a maths problem, you start getting scared. Correct? But if I say, no, I can solve this problem, I can solve this, what will happen? You will try every method in order to solve it. Yes or no? There's a problem. You will make use of every tactic in order to solve it. You will make that effort to solve it. The same way it happens when you're sick. When you say I cannot recover, it's when you give up completely. Means your body will not fight it out also. Yes or no? Your body will not fight it. Once your brain decides I don't want to live, I don't have any desire to live, what happens? Your body also starts listening to your brain. And it can be a very adverse effect, right? So she decided, she said she doesn't have any desire to live. She doesn't want to live. Okay. If she doesn't want to live, medicines will not help her. Then even the body refuses to take like in the medicines you're taking also it will not affect you so much. Understood? It will not affect you because medicines also is chemicals, right? And chemicals, once the body is resisting those chemicals, how can you get well? Correct? Okay. Read.
She tried her best to make Jonesy take an interest in things around her. She talked about clothes and fashions, but Jonesy did not respond. Jonesy continued to lie still on her bed. Sue brought her drawing board to Jonesy's room and started painting. To take Jonesy's mind off her illness, he whistled while working.
Read. One more paragraph.
Suddenly, Sue heard Jonesy whisper something. She quickly rushed to the bed and heard Jonesy counting backwards. She was looking out of the window and was saying 12. After some time, he whispered 11, then 10, then 9, 8, 7. Sue anxiously looked out of the window. She saw an old ivy creeper climbing halfway up the brick wall opposite the window. With a strong wind outside, the creeper was shedding its leaves.
Okay. Now, what shows that she's a very good friend? What shows that she's a very good friend? From the paragraph, give the answer. What shows that she's a very good friend?
Interest in things.
What shows?
Like when she was counting, like half until the window.
What shows that Sue was a very good friend of Jonesy?
Because she was worried.
No, that is one of the things. What did she do with her actions? How did she try to divert her attention?
She got a room for intelligence.
Okay, and what else she did?
She tried
Started
her best to
painting.
make Johnsy take an interest in things around.
And what did she do?
She tried to
She talked to
divert
doctor.
her mind
How? How did she try to divert
Talk
her mind?
about clothes and
By
fashion
drawing and whistling. What else?
while working.
What else?
Painting.
Painting and what else?
Clothes and fashions.
She talked about clothes and fashions. Good.
She whistled while
Good. She whistled while she was painting. Why? Because sometimes music helps you to heal. Music helps you to divert your mind. Correct? What else did she do? What else did she do?
nothing.
She started painting, right? Why she started painting?
That would help.
Why? Why not by painting? What was she and Jonesy?
She was interested in painting. They were artists.
They were artists, correct? And if your painting is your passion, what you will do? If when somebody starts to paint, you want to correct it, you want to just try yourself, right? Because both of them were artists, both of them loved painting. So she thought something what Jonesy loved will give her back that inclination to survive, to fight. Okay. So this shows that she was very attached to her friend. This shows that she had a good knowledge about her friend, and this shows that how much she loved her. Okay. Now, so what did she hear Jonesy whisper?
Numbers, backward count.
Backward counting. And what was he counting? Backward counting?
10, 11, and this one.
The
12,
Ivy
11.
The ivy leaves. And what does anxiously mean?
like
I'm very weak.
Weak? No. When are you anxious?
Very proud.
No.
very stressful.
Stressed. Anxious is when you're stressed. You are tensed. Correct? Now, when are you anxious? In what situation are you anxious?
Exam results.
Thank you. Exam results. Correct? When you're very stressed, you're very tense, you want to know. So Sue also was anxious to know what is she talking about? Who's she talking to? Okay, when she started counting, when she could hear her whisper, 1 to 10, 9, 11, this one 8, like that. So she was worried. In the strong wind outside, the creeper was shedding its leaves. Shedding
When the plant
when the leaves
removes
fall. Leaves fall, that is known as shedding. Okay, the correct term for this one is shedding. Read.
what are the deers who are sex whispered Johnson? They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100 leaves. There are only 5 left now. It is autumn, said Sue, and the leaves will fall. When the last leaf falls, I'll die, said Johnson with
Finality.
I have known this for the last 3 days. Oh, that's nonsense, replied Sue. What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting ready? The doctor is confident that you will get better. Jonesy did not say anything. Sue went and brought her a bowl of soup. I don't want any soup, said Jonesy. I'm not hungry. Now there are only 4 leaves left. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dry. Then I will sleep forever. Sue sat on Jonesy's bed, kissed her and said, you are not going to die. I can't draw the curtain, for I need the light. I want to finish the menu and get some money for us. Please, my dear friend, she begged Johnson. Promise not to look out of the window while I paint. All right, said John, to finish your painting soon, for I want to see the last leaf fall. I'm tired of waiting. I have to die. So let me go away peacefully, like one of those poor talent.
Okay, stop. Now, so when she's whispering, this Sue hears her. Okay, and when she says six, they are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were hundreds of leaves, but now this is 100 of leaves is an exaggeration. That's a hyperbole. Okay, hyperbole. So there are only 5 left now. So she's counting every day. She's looking out of the window because she doesn't have the energy to get out of the bed. Also, pneumonia drains you down like that. You don't have the energy. And she's looking out of the window, and when she's seeing that the leaves are falling very fast. And it was autumn. It was windy. It was snowing. It was raining. So all these weather you experience there, right? And she says, when the last leaf falls, I will die. And she says in a final note, in a final tone, she says. Finality is when you're talking about let you know. Okay. And she says, I have known this for the last 3 days. She's looking at the leaves. Every day she's looking at the leaves. She says, I have known that when the last leaf falls, even I will die. That means she'll give up her life. Basically, because she doesn't have the will to live. She doesn't have the desire to live. So she said, when it will fall, I will also die. She tells her finally. Okay. Oh, that's nonsense, replied Sue. What have these old Ivy leaves to do with your getting well? The doctor is confident that you will get better, and the doctor is checking her. There's nothing physically wrong because he's giving her medicines to recover, right? So he says there's nothing wrong with her. She will recover, but this girl doesn't have that desire only to live. So how will she recover? She said, you're talking all rubbish. Nonsense is rubbish. She said, the doctor says that you will live. Then why are you giving up hope? Okay, why are you giving up your life? So she says, Jonesy did not say anything and she doesn't reply to that because she has made up her mind. As I said, if you make up a mind that that problem is going to be very difficult for me, that problem will be difficult for you. If you make up your mind, this problem I can overcome, definitely you'll be able to overcome. That's why I say, don't create barriers for yourself. We, in our mind, we create a lot of obstacles for ourselves only. Once it happens that your teacher, like when she's teaching, sometimes, you're not able to grasp, means you're not able to understand. And the same thing happens, like second time also. But the third time you say, okay, I cannot do this. This problem is very difficult for me. I will not be able to do it. And then that particular fear, what is there in your heart, it gets stuck in your brain also. And that fear becomes like a monster because you feel that I cannot do this. The day you say I cannot do this, you will not be able to do it. The day I say I can, then you will be able to do it. That quote is impossible also has I am possible. You have heard that proverb. Impossible is also I am possible. It's like that. The more you have that fear in your head, the more you will not be able to overcome it. The more you decide, I will overcome it. That time you will take out all shortcuts. You will create certain things in order to overcome it. Now, what has happened? She's given up, right? So she said, "No, I will die," and definitely she was not resisting, right? She's not resisting the sickness, and the sickness is eating her up. Right? If you start fighting the sickness, if you have your willpower is there, you start fighting the sickness, what will happen? You will overcome it because your body will listen to you. Correct? Your brain controls your whole body, right? The function of your body. The brain controls. Now, if the brain decides, I will do it, I can overcome it, your brain, you start fighting that sickness, you will recover. But the brain says, no, I cannot do it. What will happen? It will be the other way around. It will not start fight. It will not fight at all. Correct? Now what has happened? I don't want any soup, she said. She brought soup and she said, I don't want any soup. I am not hungry. Now there are only 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I will sleep forever. That means I will die. Sleep forever means I will die. Sue sat on Jonesy bed, kissed her, and said, "You are not going to die. I can't draw the curtain, for I need the light." She's also an artist, so she needs the light. You require. You remember cameras also when you work, you require a flash sometimes when it's very dark. You require a light in order to see the person whatever the person is drawing. So she says, "I can't draw the curtain because I need to draw. And once I sell the painting, then only I can earn money because they are painters." So she says, "I want to finish the painting, get money for us. Money because she has to pay to the doctor, they have to pay to rent. So many things you have to pay for." She said, "That money what I get, then only I can look after us, right?" And she asked her, she's begging, she's pleading. Begging is pleading. Okay. She's pleading her, "Don't look out of the window." She said, "You just promise me that you don't look out of the window." Because what will happen if she looks out of the window?
She will see the last thing.
Yeah. And what will happen?
She will lose her hope completely and
Yeah, she will lose her hope completely and she will give up. Right? Because once your body shuts down, there's no hope of you coming back. Yes or no?
Yes.
People brain dead, people who are on in coma, sometimes they don't return back, right? Then Johnsy says Johnsy was also a friend who took, she cared for Sue. So she said, "Okay, finish your painting because as soon as you finish your painting, I see the last leaf. And because I'm tired of painting, I'm very tired. I want to just go to sleep forever. So let me sleep like this poor leaf." Like now she's giving poor tired leaf. That means she is talking about personification of leaf. Leaves are never tired. You know what is personification, right? If you give a non-living thing any emotion, any action, that is personification. And since she's calling the leaves poor and tired, means in reference, she's referring to her that I am very tired and I am not in a good condition, so let me pass away very peacefully. Okay, read one.
He was. From there on, he was the six.
No, try to sleep.
Try to sleep, said she. I have to paint an older mine.
Old minor.
I will call Berman up to be my model.
Beram.
Beram. She rushed up. Beram lived on the ground floor. He was a 60-year-old painter. His lifelong dream was to paint a masterpiece, but that had remained a dream. She poured out her worries to Berman. She told him how Jonesy was convinced that she would die when the last leaf fell. Is she stupid? Asked Berman. How can she be so foolish? She is running a high temperature complaint. She refused to eat or drink and then worried me a lot. I will come with you and see Johnson. Berman said.
Well,
They
Aristo.
Berman
Yeah, well.
Berman said. They tiptoed into the room. Jonesy was sleeping. We dropped the curtains together and they went to the next room. She peeped out through the room. There was only one leaf on the creeper. It was raining heavily and
Icy cold wind.
icy cold wind was blowing. It seemed as though the leaf would fall any minute. Berman did not say a word. He went back to his room.
Okay, stop. Now, she's she told her to try to sleep, and I will paint an old miner. Who's a miner?
The one who walks on caves.
In mines, not caves. What? They take out what? They take out what? Miners,
Diamond,
diamond, gold, all that.
oil.
Okay, so here. So she says, you have, you're playing with that.
Don't say it.
So she says this old neighbor used to live above him. This is I will keep him as a model. You know, old miner, because I have to make a picture of an old miner. I have to paint an old miner. So I will call Behram, and Behram will be my model. You know how what is a model, right? You did art and craft. Teacher will keep something in front of you, and you have to copy that, right? So like that. So he will be the model. So means Behram will look like an old miner, and she will paint him. Okay, paint on the easel, not paint him literally. Otherwise, that also you're so sleepy in life. That also will go in your head. Okay. Now Sue Rush, Behram lived on the ground floor. She was 60-year-old. Now that's why I said keep the theme in mind. One is selfless and ready to sacrifice for people. He was 60-year-old. His lifelong dream was to paint a masterpiece, but that remained a dream. Now you always desire to become somebody, correct? So he was a painter and he desired to make one masterpiece. You know, like MF Hussain, if you see his paintings are like very expensive. When he was living, MF Hussein's painting was very, very expensive. You talk Michelangelo, you talk about so many painters who like made and they're renowned for their paintings, correct? He wanted to make one such painting, but every artist, like you play cricket, every person cannot be a cricketer, right? You should have the talent for it, or you should have the particular patron for it. Yes or no? To sponsor you, to train you, right? But the same way for a painter also, it is always a dream to make a painting which is appreciated by the whole world. You're so fascinated by my bracelet. Your eyes are moving with my bracelet. Okay, so basically it was like he wanted to make one painting. That is what he's talking about, masterpiece. He wanted to make one painting which people would appreciate, and that remained a dream of it. Okay, it was not like he never made a painting which was appreciated by people. Okay, and she poured out her worries. Poured out her worries means when you are confiding, when you are telling somebody about your troubles, about your tension, about your stress. So she told everything to Behram. Okay, and like she told him how Jonesy was convinced. Convinced. What does convinced means? Believed. Convinced is believed. She believed that she would die when the last leaf fell. So Behram, he's a 60-year-old. You know now how your grandparents are. She says, is she stupid? So he's like, what do you mean? Your life depends on the leaf. No? Isn't it a stupid idea? That leaf will fall and I will also die. Isn't it a very stupid thing? Bang mein. So she says, so is she stupid? How can she be so foolish? She said, how can your life depend on the leaf falling? I said, okay, that leaf is falling, you will also die. Is it possible? The tree, one tree is falling, you will also fall with the tree. Is it possible?
No.
So he says, she's very foolish, right? So she says she's running a very high temperature and she refuses to eat and drink, and that worries her. So she has high temperatures, high fever. She's running. Pneumonia has that, and pneumonia has this one tendency to give you high fever. And then she says, and she's not eating and drinking. Now what has happened? You have pneumonia, you have high fever, and you're not eating and drinking. Now, if you can't take medicines on empty stomach. You know that doctors always tell you cannot take medicine on empty stomach. Now, if you're not eating, you're not drinking, then what will happen?
Right.
Your body will not get energy to fight the disease.
We can't stand.
You will not be able to stand. You don't have energy, you don't have strength, correct? Because eating and drinking, what happens? Even when you're sick and you don't feel like eating, especially when you're sick, you don't feel like eating at all, correct? So it's like, your body will not have that energy to resist, correct, the infection. And you need your body to resist the infection. So she's sick, she's pouring out all her worries. Pouring out means she's telling. Pouring out is not pouring water on his head. See, we have tantrums like that. What about your tantrums? You also have tantrums like that? Sure? When you're sick, you want something tasty, pizza, you want a burger, you want. See? It will pukish because, but then you still have to eat. I prefer drinking more, like coconut water or electrolyte or
I
something.
prefer
coconut.
Because that gives you energy, not to try.
I prefer drinking.
So, what does tiptoed means? Tiptoed into the room.
मैम अभी मत पढ़ो. Second lecture.
Acha, 15 minutes we sit idle. After this, you have to complete still this one is there.
मैम पता नहीं तुम आज बहुत बोल रहे हो.
I know. I can see it on your face. And looking at you, I am also going to be drained out by the end of the day.
Okay मैम तो आप क्या करते हैं?
Yes. Next week you're coming or not coming, Wagner?
I think so. I am not.
Why you are thinking that you're not coming?
But I'm not coming.
You two are not coming. You're saying you're going to Tamil Nadu. You're going to Bangalore.
Okay.
Huh?
UP.
UP. You belong to UP. I thought you went to Bangalore. Why is it UP? Who is in UP?
No, I'm not.
Yeah? Sorry. Where are we planning to go? Sholapur. Then?
I don't.
I don't know.
I think so. I will go. Yeah.
Eh? Jammu. The parents are taking you to Jammu Diwali time that too.
I think so.
Diwali time we stay in the house and do
No. South.
Tamil Nadu.
Not Tamil Nadu. South Tamil Nadu.
Kerala.
there near that only that side you go
अपन
south.
वो
अब Kerala भी Kerala.
Go wherever you want to go. You are going or you are not going, just tell me because I will talk to
if I will not go there, then I will go to my native.
that is there. So you are not planning to come. So that means the cancel the class.
नहीं आऊँगा absent हूँ.
I am going to ask her to cancel the class. Because if you are not coming, I am not wasting my energy to come here. That's why I said first only tell me. Because it is morning, it's morning, this one. That's what I'm asking you very clear cut. Are you coming? Morning, at 11
Morning
o'clock.
class.
Morning class, 11 o'clock. Next Saturday.
I'm going
What
on.
to stay till 12 o'clock, you will want to see.
I'm going
No, I will
because
not
super
see,
driver.
but I want to go man somewhere else. How can हम क्या go yourself? क्या
When I can come from different days, I think you can also
What
come.
now?
If you are not coming, then I will not come.
Hello, next set. Yeah, I will not go.
Alright. They tiptoed.
नहीं मत करो. मैं नींद आ रही है मैं.
Tiptoed.
नींद आ रही है.
Tiptoe.
What does tiptoed means?
तो
And when do you do that?
When we are asleep.
Give me different occasions when you're doing that.
When I sleep.
Yeah, you've done it 101% sneak out of your house. 101%. What are you going to sneak out your house for? And a secret? Go to meet your friends?
No.
Then
क्या
you go to buy something?
मुझे बताओ.
Maybe.
Where?
ये नहीं
Cafe. Ew. And what about you? Why do you sneak out of your house? You tiptoe out of your house. Now tiptoe means you don't, without making noise, you get out of the house. Why?
Because घर वाले पहली बात तो भेजते नहीं. जाने का बहुत मन करता है कभी भी गुस्सा आते तो चुपचाप से बैठी है. बोलने का साइकिल चलाने जा रहा हूँ.
Mom, PTA.
Yeah.
नहीं बोलती. आप नहीं बोलते हो मैंने सब अच्छा. आपको एलबीएस. आपको एलबीएस.
And when do you tiptoe out of the house?
No, man.
Yeah, he is very sincere.
मैम हाँ मैं.
washroom कर रहा
The washroom जाने के बाद you tiptoe out of the
था. क्योंकि मैं बाहर घूमने जाते इसके लिए.
washroom बाहर घूमने जाते हो.
घूमने जाते इसके लिए.
Pick that pen up. Don't play with that.
घूमने जाते इसके लिए.
And what about if mama made something in the kitchen and you are not allowed to eat for because your guest is coming to your house?
मैं तो खाता हूँ. एक तो
I
खाती
did
हूँ.
it a lot.
You did a lot of time. What is your favorite dish which mama makes and mama stops you? Acha paneer. I don't know why
No,
people are crazy
mine
about paneer. What about you?
My mother makes
Chicken.
Amazing
Chicken,
paneer.
chicken.
Chicken. So you go and take a piece of chicken and eat.
No, बिरयानी जो बनती है
हाँ.
बहुत टेस्ट
हाँ नहीं, but I am asking you an occasion where you sneak into the kitchen because your mother.
है ना
हाँ.
बहुत बार गेस्ट आने से 5-10 मिनट पहले क्योंकि मम्मी ड्रेस चेंज करती है
You was
And my paneer and dhokla and mutia.
Mutia, yeah, is lovely, tasty. Even I will do that for mutia or biryani.
where are you from
Somewhere in India.
मैं बोलती नहीं है
I am not.
Correct.
मैम ऐसे ना ऐसे हमारे स्कूल में बहुत सारे मिस है जो बोलती नहीं कहाँ से
That's what, because it's none of your business where they are from.
मैम पर आप ये तो मतलब कि नॉर्थ से हो
No,
ईस्ट से हो वेस्ट से
I'm from India.
बता ना मैम नहीं
They
सर
tiptoed into the room. Why? Because they
मत
didn't
पढ़ा
want to disturb.
प्लीज नींद आ रही है
हमने तो अभी पढ़ा है नेक्स्ट डे से बात पढ़ा है
Action.
हाँ
Ha
हाँ
ha
हाँ
ha ha ha
देखो
ha.
बस
That deal I am not giving.
मैम only 7 minutes
I am not
only
giving.
8 minutes are left
Nah, my maid minutes.
You stop banging the table.
मैम
It's a
only
very
8
irritating
minutes are
habit.
left you explain
It's a very irritating habit. Don't do that, please. And just please pick that up, marker up. Not with your leg. You write with the
I'm
marker.
here, that's why I know it. Okay.
हम लोग जाते हैं ना तो आज है ना क्या है बेबी क्या है नेमिंग सेरेमनी
नामकरण.
खाना
किसी का तो
Naming ceremony of who?
my uncles daughters child
His daughter's child. My cousin's daughter. Can't you say that? It's short form. Uncle's daughter's child. My cousin. Your uncle's daughter is your cousin. Cousin's daughter. And where are we off to? Both of you go Dostana too.
तो हम लोग रोज खाने के लिए जाते तो
What do you eat?
लड़की होनी
Ah, you're right.
Maggie where?
लड़की
नहीं तो
Maggie. Not Maggie. But where's Maggie here?
in Sorovar society
आंसर नहीं क्या
fresh juice
No idea.
अरे
पानी
आप रोज घर से आते हो ना आप रोज घर
I must have come from there. I have not noticed.
you know
Yeah, I understood where you're talking. I understood where you're talking. The Starbucks next to Starbucks it is.
Ah,
See, ask me that way, the Starbucks. You don't ask me once about quality or the society or what.
Starbucks जाते हो
Yeah. So,
इधर गए होगे ना
और से
Yes.
इसी वजह से
what's my favorite thing? Coffee. Any coffee. Season special sometimes. Because I cannot have a lot of sugar. So I prefer
You have
something crappy. Yeah. I do have that. So you don't add to my stress family. My stress you add and then it goes very high. You know, stress related disease it is.
शक्कर मत खाओ
I don't drink. I don't eat.
Ayo, my maid.
Acha, in my case, what's your favorite?
there is a burger without mayo. Like I'm allergic to mayo, so I can't have. So there is only 1 or 2 burgers. I want.
Which burger? Name of the burger?
नीला
Aloo tikki
नीला
burger.
295 के
Aloo tikki burger.
No. All that contain mayo.
Ah, but you can ask him not to put mayo, na?
Mom, that what will I eat? A banana patty.
Actually, that is also mayo. And lettuce also. Don't say forget lettuce.
लेट्यूस मत बोलो
Cheese burst burger. Something.
Mom, it is.
मैम लेट्यूस दो या
its name
तीन
is
डालते
American
थे
Supreme.
मैंने एक बार बर्गर लिया था 8 लेट्यूस थे मैम उसमें खाता ही नहीं खाने को ही नहीं जा रहा
Mom, its name is American Supreme.
American Supreme burger. And what else?
And Coke.
Meals.
Yeah, you take us this one. Meal saver. Yeah, I agree.
क्यों पढ़ा रहे
Mom, but I
हो?
eat Wendy's more.
Sorry?
Wendy's.
Where?
Online.
Well, only 4 minutes.
Swiggy.
Swiggy. Is it good? Why Wendy's? But
Mom, because most of their burger do not contain milk.
Where is Wendy's exactly? Height, you order from Swiggy, the address is also given in that, you know that. What's your favorite except for biryani? Except for that. I know that those two are your favorite.
और कुछ नहीं है चिकन ही है चिकन में सब
Any kind of chicken 65, butter chicken.
सब
Mama, I
You are now hardcore vegetarian or vegan?
अरे क्यों छोड़ा
Vegan.
क्यों छोड़ा छोड़ा
पापा ने बोला पूजा पाठ करता हूँ
उसी
फिर
दिन मैं
चिकन
उसी
खाता है अच्छा है
हाँ उसी दिन मील
So
नहीं
your
मिला
parents are not non-vegetarian.
They are vegan, like so. They were first non-vegetarian. After before 1 or 2 years, or 2 or 3 years before lockdown, they became vegan.
Right?
Because no, my parents like to darshan and a lot, so that's why some my
Places you're not allowed to, yeah.
no, not allowed. Some of my relatives told my parents that you visit Lord Bhagwan so often, but you eat chicken also. It's not right. So then my dad left and my mom is like both from both species.
you eat chicken
Within hours to eat.
and you eat
Yes, I eat all non-veg.
mutton
I eat all non-veg.
fish
I think that comprises of I eat everything. That means it means I eat everything.
I'm shrimp.
ma'am I love one shop is there I don't know where
I love chocolate.
ma'am there they give chicken samosa corn and sweet
Sweet samosa.
I'm only
sweet
two
नहीं
and
वो तीखा रहता है पर वो उसके toppings में corn के
Sweet corn.
corn and cheese
Oh, I love
In veg I eat corn and cheeseburger in Maggi.
अरे वो नहीं samosa Yes.
I like corn and cheese samosa. One day we shall get. One day we shall get. We shall have a party.
Let's play it today.
No.
Second lecture.
No.
Second.
Not today. The day
Already you taught us
yes.
so much.
Yes, already you taught us so
Ma'am,
much.
Diwali-
Already your marks are not coming. How much I teach you?
Diwali party, Diwali party.
Bas, huh?
About 70.
Once you get about 80, then I.
It is out of 80 only.
That's why I said 80. At least 80 means in a sense I'm not saying that. You should at least get around say 75 plus. Then I'll give you.
अभी जो एग्जाम है उसमें 50 में से 45
Out of 80.
मैं 40 हूँ अच्छा
Out of 80, you get 75
Plus,
plus.
he is telling that it will be for 50 marks in the exam, so he will get above 40.
45 and above.
मैम मेरा भी 35 मिला
Out of 80.
और 10 मार्क मेरा होगा
80. I said out of 80 you get 75 plus and or out of and that
12 बजे सोया हुआ
Mama, out of 20, how much?
out of 20 20 out of 20.
No.
No, that is a B.
Ma'am, 15.
No, that is a D. If you are getting 20 out of 20, then I will give you a treat. And it is my guarantee. You because now in another say 3 weeks your class will be over. Huh?
Meaning this one.
This no, December after this month around that month.
I slept at 12 o'clock and woke at 4:20.
You know you're very lucky in life.
मजा आज
You can enjoy life now or later on in life.